Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
General Hospital spoilers note that November sweeps will bring drama and chaos, as Drew Kane's shooter case may be answered, while Veronica Ronnie Bard exits, and Rocky Loves take center stage. As GH observers know, stories tend to crown during Reach's months. This is when characters meet their demise, secrets are exposed, and marriage craziness occurs. Presently, everyone has major question marks where Drew's firing case is concerned. While the PCPD is zeroing in on Willow Tate, the verity is, the first main suspect charged is no way generally the perpetrator, so suckers should anticipate other persons of interest to face. With that said, Drew's shooter will probably be exposed at some point during November Reaches. Meanwhile, Ronnie has made a huge impact on the oil, with most of the Quartermaines drinking Monica Quartermaine's long-lost family into the pack. Still, Tracy Quartermaine is an addict. It's been great seeing Erica Slezak back on daytime drama defenses. Still, her plot will come to a close eventually during November. As Ronnie seems like a decent person, someone is behind the deception of her getting the Q-Mance, looking at you, Martin Gray, so this will probably blow up coming month. Will this redeem Ronnie in Tracy's eyes? In other GH November sweeps news, Laura Wright will celebrate 20 times of Carly Corinthos as of November 4th. Wright entered the part as Carly recast number 4 in 2005 and has been going strong as the character since. She also happens to have the bragging rights as the actress who's been Carly the longest, so there's a chance the ABC Cleaner may showcase a Carly-centric occasion during Reach's month to celebrate this corner. With that said, Carly may have to deal with a bifurcation, as her love with Jack Brennan seems potent rocky. During the week of October 6th, the GH pen set up a plot where Jocelyn Jacks revealed Vaughn was a WSB agent to her mama. Joss was assigned with the charge to keep Carly enthralled while Brennan spoke with Jason Morgan, so she decided to use a WSB trick of sticking to the verity. As Vaughn is slated to come Brennan's alternate in command, Carly was bound to learn that he was an agent at WSB, anyway. Carly assured her son, who was visibly worried, but also came veritably outraged with her swain for knowing about Vaughn's dangerous job but not bringing her into the circle. The GH pens nearly sounded to herald what will be when Carly learns Jocelyn's little WSB secret. November Reaches would be the perfect time for it all to come out. Eventually, will Maxie Jones return during November sweeps? It would be a good time, especially now that Nathan West is back. Kristen Storms revealed in an Instagram videotape previous to her hiatus that her character would be returning either November or December of this time, so suckers will need to stay tuned to the ABC Cleaner to see what happens coming. General Hospital spoilers suggest plenitude of stunners and action come November Reaches, so it'll be a month of occurrences suckers won't want to miss. General Hospital spoilers gossip Jason Morgan is formally asking questions about Nathan West's appearance back in Port Charles, alive and well ever after being presumed dead in 2018 following Caesar Faison's projectile to his casket. He was curious as to why Britt Westbourne tried to discourage anyone from letting James West meet his revivified father for the first time. Britt's explanation might have landed well in the moment, but Commodity tells us that's going to look else to Jason in hindsight as he continues to collect information. We can go some of that information will come by the way of Damian Spinelli, who's certain to entrust in Stone Cold soon about his enterprises that Nathan is back, every bit as in love with Maxie Jones as he always was, and ready to play the part of daddy in James' life. Spinelli loses faith. The grief was written all over Spinelli's face as he sat in Nathan's sanitarium room hail about how Maxie's hubby and former resident idol was still as in love with her as the last time he saw her, the day she allowed. She watched the light slip out of his eyes. Now, Spinelli gets to sit with the knot in his stomach and the anxiety that's mounting each day as he wonders what life will be like when Maxie wakes up, if she ever does. Will he get the chance to enunciate his love for her and ask her to be his woman? Can she indeed say yes if Nathan is alive? Does that mean they're still married? As these questions face, it's going to lead Spinelli to fear and helical, conceivably right to Jason's doorstep. GH spoilers leak everyone's senses for Nathan so far. Everyone is sympathetic with Nathan. Indeed, when Spinelli showed up at the sanitarium to bandy matters with him, Britt was quick to shoot him packing out of favor for Nathan's fragile condition, but that can't be the reason ever. Nathan is eager to get on with life and take over the part of James' father, but he's postponing to Spinelli, who knows James well, as to how snappily that should be. At the same time, everyone from Mac and Felicia Scorpio to Nina Reeves, Dante Falconeri, and Lulu Spencer are thrilled that Nathan is back. Spinelli can't denounce them for that, but he may find the space to be heard and the comfort of commiserating with Jason. Is Nathan really a victim, though? If there's anyone who's going to be in Spinelli's corner and might begin to question just what happened with Nathan and how genuine he's as the family takes collaborative way forward to combine him back into their lives, it'll be Jason. He's got all eyes on Britt, and he's still staying for her to explain how she got a gig in a lab in Croatia complete with an ankle monitoring when she was supposed to be dead. Commodity isn't adding up, and the more she starts to discover enterprises, designedly or else, to him about Nathan, the more he may drop hints in the water to Spinelli that all isn't as it seems, and perhaps he should hold on to the arm around James for a bit longer. General Hospital new leaks from our ABC Cleaner bigwig, fastening on characters like Monica Quartermain's family, Ronnie, as well as Liesl Albrecht and Nathan West. Plus, we're diving into rumors about Drew Kane Quartermain's implicit involvement in these unfolding stories. General Hospital, is Ronnie a grifter in disguise? Our first leak suggests that Erica Slezak's character, Ronnie, may not be who she seems. Scuttlebutt has it that Ronnie, originally presented as Monica's family, is actually a grifter and a miscreant. This scheme is allegedly orchestrated by Drew, who's seeking to gain control of the Quartermain estate. While Drew's conniving hasn't been explicitly shown yet, the leak hints at implicit flashbacks that could reveal his involvement, analogous to the Cyrus Renaud killing Sam McCall leak from the same source. The discovery of a letter from Ronnie to Monica at Drew's Hearthstone, set up by Martin Gray, adds another subcast to this proposition. It's possible Congressman Cutthroat planted the letter to manipulate Martin against Tracy Quartermain. This aligns with Drew's recent statement about not wanting to be barred from Monica's will. With Gail Baldwin, Monica's consanguineous mama, departed, there's no bone alive to definitively confirm or deny Ronnie's relation to Monica. Drew could indeed manipulate any implicit DNA tests. General Sanitarium, Ronnie's ties to Jack Brennan and Helena Cassadine. Farther leaks suggest Ronnie is also the mama of Jack Brennan, though their relationship is strained. This would give Ronnie with two significant connections within the show's narrative, a common jotting fashion. This implicit plot also offers a message to Chris McKenna's part as Erica Slezak's son on One Life to Live. Also, Ronnie is brooded to have a history of business dealings with Jen Sidwell, including transporting diamonds between him and Helena Cassadine, which would tie her to another major character. The leaker indicates that Erica Slezak's character was written with multitudinous connections. And she's reportedly thrilled to portray a villain, a departure from her cherished One Life to Live character, Victoria Lord Buchanan. General Hospital, Britt's implicit move to the Quartermain mansion. Another leak, however less certain, indicates that Britt Westbourne may move into the Quartermain mansion in October due to enterprises about Jason Morgan following Monica's death. This leak is viewed with some dubitation. As a former vaticination of Willow Tate moving into the manse after unyoking with Drew didn't materialize on General Hospital. The source's information is generally dependable, but not always accurate. Conceivably due to the contact's connection to the Pens and the evolving nature of storylines. Nathan West's mysterious return. Regarding Nathan West's return, the leaker directly prognosticated that Nathan would be himself, but have no memory of the once 7 times, a detail verified in a recent occasion. His last memory is of Caesar Faison shooting him, suggesting amnesia or a coma performing from that event, or conceivably the recent auto crash. Albrecht, Faison, and the 7-time gap. The leak further suggests Albrecht knew Nathan was alive and kept him hidden. Another, potentially antithetical, leaked countries he was experimented on and escaped a lab. These could be conformed if Albrecht set up Nathan slow after Faison's attack, hit him, and he laterally escaped from Professor Hank Dalton's lab. However, he might have taken Nathan from Albrecht to discipline her and laterally handed him over to Dalton for trial if Nathan was uncooperative, if Faison is the riddle master. The leaker acknowledges that some leaks may contradict each other, but emphasizes the enjoyment of reporting these implicit stories. The calm before the storm, a baptismal gathering. The scene opens with a picture of serene normalcy. Elizabeth Weber, holding a peacefully sleeping Liam in his pristine white christening gown, beams with a mother's joy. Standing proudly beside her is Hamilton Finn, his arm wrapped protectively around her. They are the picture of a couple who has weathered storms and found their harbor. Across the aisle, the tension is palpable, though expertly masked. Brooklyn Quartermain and Harrison Chase have arrived together, a united front for their nephew's big day. But the elephant in the room, or rather, the woman in the pew, is Ronnie. The imposter, a skilled actress playing the part of Chase's long-lost, presumed dead wife, sits demurely next to Brooklyn, her hand occasionally patting Chase's arm in a display of wifely support. She has perfected the mannerisms, the slight, shy smile, the way she tucks her hair behind her ear, the soft-spoken words of congratulations to Elizabeth and Finn. Characters: Elizabeth Weber, Hamilton Finn, Harrison Chase, Ronnie, imposter. Location: Hospital Chapel. The initial moments of the gathering are filled with the expected, albeit strained, pleasantries. Elizabeth, whispering to Finn, her eyes on Liam, "He's perfect, isn't he? After everything, to have this moment of pure happiness." Finn, squeezing her shoulder, "He is. And so are you. We deserve this, Liz. All of it." Finn's words are a balm, a deliberate affirmation of their hard-won future. His encouragement is aimed at fortifying their little family against any and all storms. He makes a point to include Chase. "Finn, Chase, thank you for being here. It means a lot. To all of us." Chase, looking slightly uncomfortable but resolute, nods. Chase wouldn't miss it. He's a great kid. It's then that the imposter, Ronnie, seizes her moment. She leans in, her voice a conspiratorial, gentle murmur, dripping with false sincerity. "Ronnie, Elizabeth, Hamilton, this is just so beautiful. The love in this room, it's palpable. It reminds me of when Harrison and I first got married. That feeling that you can conquer anything, as long as you have each other." Her words are expertly crafted, encouraging words, designed to reinforce her place in the narrative. She is not just a guest, she is weaving herself back into the fabric of Chase's life, using the emotional high of the baptism as her loom. She looks at Brooklyn, a flicker of false apology in her eyes. "Ronnie, I know this is complicated. But family is everything. I truly believe that. And I'm so grateful for a second chance with mine." Brooklyn offers a tight, polite smile, her instincts screaming, but her heart conflicted by Chase's obvious, desperate hope. The imposter's performance is flawless, a masterclass in emotional manipulation that successfully keeps the majority of the room disarmed. The hunter and the prey, Jason's investigation. While the chapel resonates with hymns and hope, Jason Morgan is elsewhere, moving through the city's underbelly like a specter of vengeance. For weeks, he has been plagued by inconsistencies. The reappearance of Ronnie was too neat, too convenient. The woman, while physically similar, lacked the subtle tells Jason, a man trained to observe every micro-expression, would expect from someone who had lived the life the real Ronnie had. His investigation began with tracing her movements prior to her miraculous return to Port Charles. Security footage from bus stations, traffic cameras, and a forgotten ATM withdrawal led him to a dead end, a payphone near the waterfront that had been used to call Chase's private line the day she reappeared. The call was too short, the timing too precise. It wasn't the desperate act of a lost woman finding her way home, it was a signal. His break came from an unlikely source, a low-level enforcer for a rival organization, currently in Jason's debt. The man had heard whispers of a high-stakes snatch and grab orchestrated by a new player in town, someone who specialized in identity reassignments. The target was a woman being held in a soundproofed warehouse off the old industrial pier. The description matched the real Ronnie. Characters: Jason Morgan, the kidnapper, Marcus Vex, real Ronnie, bound and gagged. Location: abandoned warehouse, Port Charles docks. Jason moves with a predator's silence, disabling the crude alarm system on a rusted side door. The interior of the warehouse is cavernous and dark, smelling of salt, rust, and decay. From a makeshift office on a mezzanine level, he hears the low murmur of a television and the gruff voice of a man on a phone call. Marcus VX, into phone, no, the package is still secure. The asset is in place and the baptism is proceeding as scheduled. The distraction is perfect. Once the family is publicly reconciled, the transfer of the Quartermain trust funds will be seamless. Yeah, I've kept her comfortable. For now. Jason doesn't need to hear more. He slips up the metal staircase, his footsteps silent on the grimy steps. He peers through the grimy window of the office door. Inside, a man in his late 40s, Marcus Vex, sits with his boots on a desk. And in the corner, tied to a chair, gagged and bruised but very much alive, is the real Ronnie. Her eyes, wide with fear and exhaustion, are the same eyes Jason saw in old photographs. This is her. The anger that courses through Jason is a cold, focused thing. This isn't just a crime, it's a desecration of a man's hope, a violation of a family's peace. The encouraging words being spoken at the chapel are a grotesque parody, a script written by this thug in a dirty warehouse. He doesn't knock. The door splinters inward with a single, powerful kick. Marcus Vex scrambles for a gun on the desk, but Jason is faster. The fight is brutal, short, and decisive. Jason disarms him with a sharp blow to the wrist, the gun clattering away, and follows with a series of precise, devastating strikes that leave Vex crumpled and unconscious on the floor. Jason moves immediately to Ronnie, carefully removing her gag. She gasps for air, her body trembling. Ronnie, voice raspy from disuse, who are you? Jason, a friend of Chase's. I'm getting you out of here. He cuts her bonds with a knife from his pocket. As her hands come free, she clutches at his arm, her desperation tangible. Ronnie, the baptism. Liam's baptism is today? She's there, isn't she? The woman who looks like me? Jason, nodding, his jaw tight, she is. But not for long. The revelation is complete. The conspiracy is laid bare. The other woman at the chapel is an imposter, a pawn in a ruthless financial scheme, and the real Ronnie has been found, kidnapped and used as leverage to ensure the imposter's compliance. The clock is now ticking. Jason has to get the real Ronnie to safety and expose the lie before the ceremony concludes, before Chase is irrevocably bound to a fiction. The sacred and the profane baptism begins. Back in the chapel, the ceremony is commencing. The priest stands at the font, the water shimmering in the soft light. The families gather around. Elizabeth hands a calm Liam to Finn, who stands ready to make his promises. The priest, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in the sight of God to witness the baptism of Liam. The words are ancient and comforting, a ritual that has spanned centuries. For Elizabeth and Finn, it's a sacred vow to protect and guide their son. For Brooke Lynn, it's a painful reminder of the family she wants with Chase, a future now seemingly stolen. For Chase, it's a bittersweet moment, joy for his brother tinged with the confusing turmoil of his own resurrected past. The imposter Ronnie stands close to Chase, her face a mask of beatific serenity. She occasionally glances towards the chapel doors, a barely perceptible flicker of anxiety in her eyes. She knows her handler, Marcus Vex, should have checked in by now. The silence from his end is deafening. Characters, Jason Morgan, Ronnie, Imposter, Harrison Chase, Brooke Lynn Quartermain, Finn, Elizabeth. Location, Hospital Chapel. Just as the priest asks, do you renounce Satan and all his spiritual forces, the heavy oak doors of the chapel burst open. Jason Morgan stands in the doorway, backlit by the hallway lights, his silhouette imposing and grim. The entire congregation turns, a collective gasp rippling through the room. The priest falters, his words dying in his throat. Finn's face hardens. Jason? What is the meaning of this? Jason's eyes scan the room, bypassing everyone until they land directly on Ronnie. He strides forward, his presence shattering the sanctity of the moment. Chase, stepping forward, protective, Jason, whatever this is, it can wait. We're in the middle of a ceremony. Jason, no. It can't. He stops a few feet from the imposter. Her serene mask begins to crack, revealing the calculating woman beneath. Jason, the game's over. We have Marcus Vex. And we have the real Ronnie. The color drains from the imposter's face. A ripple of confusion and shock runs through the family. Brooke Lynn, what? What is he talking about? Ronnie, voice trembling, but with a sharp edge, I don't know who that is. Jason, have you lost your mind? I'm right here. Harrison, tell him. But Chase is staring at her, really looking at her, and for the first time, he sees the artifice, the panic in her eyes that doesn't match the story of a victim, the way her accent slips for a fraction of a second. Jason, your name is Lena Petrova. You're a con artist from Bucharest, specializing in long cons and identity theft. Marcus Vax kidnapped the real Ronnie 6 weeks ago and forced you to take her place. The plan was to gain access to the Quartermain trust funds Chase inherited after Ronnie's death. Once the money was transferred, the real Ronnie was to be eliminated. The revelation hangs in the air, monstrous and unbelievable. Elizabeth clutches Liam closer, her baptismal joy evaporating into horror. Lena Petrova, seeing her carefully constructed world implode, snarls. The gentle facade evaporates, replaced by a visage of pure venom. The encouraging words are now a distant memory. Lena Petrova, her voice a low, angry threat, you have no proof of anything. You think you're so smart, Morgan? You just signed her death warrant. If I don't call my contact in the next hour, the order goes out. She dies. You hear me? You think you saved her? You've killed her. These are the angry threats, born of desperation and malice. They are meant to paralyze, to instill fear, to give her back control. She turns her fury on Chase. Lena Petrova, and you. You were so pathetic, so eager to believe your little wife came back from the dead. You swallowed every lie because you wanted it to be true. You're a fool, Harrison Chase. A sentimental fool. Chase recoils as if struck. The cruelty of her words confirms the truth of Jason's more than any evidence ever could. Jason, completely unfazed, his voice like ice, your contact is in custody. The warehouse is surrounded by the PCPD. It's over. As if on cue, Detectives Dante Falconeri and Sam McCall enter the chapel, their badges visible. They move directly toward Lena. Dante, Lena Petrova, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit kidnapping, fraud, and impersonation. As Dante reads her rights, Lena continues to spew threats, her voice rising to a shrill crescendo that echoes blasphemously in the sacred space until she is led away. The aftermath, picking up the pieces. The baptism is irreparably shattered. The family is left in the wreckage of the day, a mixture of shock, rage, and profound relief. Characters, Harrison Chase, Real Ronnie, Jason, Brooklyn. Location, General Hospital, private room. An hour later, in a private room on the hospital's 5th floor, the real Ronnie, cleaned up and wrapped in a blanket, sits on the edge of a hospital bed. The door opens slowly, and Chase steps in, his face a canvas of trepidation and awe. She looks up. The connection is instantaneous and real. It's in the way her eyes crinkle, the slight, hesitant smile that is entirely her own, the quiet sob that escapes her lips. Ronnie, Harrison? Chase, his voice breaks, Ronnie. My God. It's really you. He crosses the room in 2 strides and gathers her into his arms, holding her as if she might vanish. It's a hug of grief, of lost time, of overwhelming relief. Over her shoulder, Chase's eyes meet Brooklyn's, who is standing in the doorway with tears in her own eyes. The moment is impossibly complex, a reunion of husband and wife, yet a potential farewell to the future he had begun to imagine with Brooklyn. Spoiler scene breakdown number 5, a new resolve. Characters, Jason Morgan, Sonny Corinthos, Carly Spencer. Location, Metro Court Pool. Later that evening, Jason meets with Sonny and Carly. He relays the entire story. Sonny, shaking his head, sipping his espresso, using a baptism. That's a new low. You don't touch a man's family on a day like that. Carly, that poor woman. And Chase, to have that kind of hope dangled in front of you, only to find out it's a lie crafted by a monster. She shudders. You did good, Jason. You saved a life today. Jason, it was too close. They infiltrated his life. They used his heart against him. His words are quiet, but they carry the weight of his core philosophy. In Port Charles, love is the ultimate vulnerability. It's a weapon your enemies will not hesitate to use. Sunny, which is why we stay vigilant. This Marcus Vex, he's a hired gun. The question is, who hired him? This isn't over. Someone with a serious grudge against the Quartermaines, or against Chase specifically, paid for this operation. We need to find out who. Jason nods, his expression grim. The immediate threat is neutralized, but a new one has already taken shape in the shadows. The angry threats of Lena Petrova were just the beginning, the mastermind remains at large. Episode analysis and future spoilers. The events of the baptism episode serve as a critical turning point for multiple character arcs and plotlines in Port Charles. 1. The deconstruction of hope. The episode masterfully uses the juxtaposition of the sacred, baptism, and the profane, kidnapping, imposture, to highlight the fragile nature of happiness in this world. The encouraging words at the start were a lie, making the eventual angry threats all the more impactful. It's a classic General Hospital theme, the past is never truly buried. 2. Jason Morgan, the relentless protector. This storyline reinforces Jason's role as the city's unyielding guardian. He operates on instinct and logic, unaffected by the emotional manipulation that ensnared Chase. His success here is a win for the good guys, but it also sets him on a collision course with the unseen architect of this plot, promising future conflict. 3. Harrison Chase's psychological turmoil. Chase's character is left profoundly scarred. The emotional whiplash of losing his wife, believing she's returned, and then discovering it was a cruel hoax will have lasting effects. His trust is shattered. His reunion with the real Ronnie is fraught with complication. Can they simply pick up where they left off after such a traumatic ordeal for both of them? And where does this leave his burgeoning relationship with Brooke Lynn, who stood by him through the entire ordeal? This creates a powerful, gut-wrenching love triangle rooted in trauma and loyalty. 4. Brooke Lynn's dilemma. Brooke Lynn's position is uniquely painful. She is simultaneously relieved that Chase is free from the imposter and heartbroken that the real Ronnie, a good woman, an innocent victim, is back. Her love for Chase is now tangled with guilt and the grim acknowledgement that she must potentially step aside. Her character arc will be defined by how she handles this selfless love. 5. Finn and Elizabeth, a fortified bond. While their day was ruined, the external threat likely serves to strengthen Finn and Elizabeth's resolve. The violation of their family's sacred moment by outside evil will make them more protective of their unit, potentially drawing them closer together. Looking ahead, spoiler previews. Who is the mastermind? The investigation led by Jason and the PCPD will intensify. All signs point to a personal enemy of the Quartermaines. Suspects could include a forgotten relative from a disinherited branch of the family, a business rival like Cyrus Renault seeking indirect revenge, or a figure from Ronnie's own mysterious past. A rocky road to recovery. The relationship between Chase and the real Ronnie will be a central focus. She will struggle with PTSD from her captivity, and he will battle trust issues. Their marriage will be tested in ways they never imagined. Brooke Lynn's choice. Expect Brooke Lynn to attempt a noble retreat, encouraging Chase to focus on his wife. This will create immense tension with Tracy Quartermaine, who will likely advocate for her granddaughter to fight for the man she loves. Lena Petrova's bargain. From prison, Lena will attempt to cut a deal. She possesses information, and her knowledge of the criminal underworld could make her a valuable, if treacherous, asset to both the PCPD and Jason, leading to a dangerous alliance. The next threat. The final moments of the episode will hint at the next move from the shadowy mastermind. A new, ominous figure may be seen watching the hospital from a distance, or a cryptic message will be delivered, confirming that the angry threats were not an end, but merely the opening salvo in a much larger war.